Hi everyone, my name is Eliza and this is Eliza's Bookshelf. Today I want to go over the 5 books that I read recently in order to buy a book. And so if you guys don't know, I've been putting myself on this challenge just starting this year to control my binge buying, my book binge buying. And so I am doing this challenge to read 5 of my own books before I buy a book. So I want to go over the 5 books that I read recently and the book that I actually bought. I'm going to go in the order of the book that I read first and then the book that I read recently. So the first book I want to talk about is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. So this was such a surprise for me because I've had these books on my shelves for the past like 4 years or so, or even more so than that, I think. Anyway, so I finally read it because Strangest Dreamer was our buddy read for the month of December of our readathon. I love this one so much. I read it on a book and audiobook, and the audiobook is so good. It's like on my top 3 audiobooks, up there with like Red Rising and what else? I can't think of it right now, but it is up there with Red Rising in terms of audiobooks. It's so fantastic. And Muse of Nightmares wrapped up the duology so well. You see more of the background of the characters from the first book, especially one of the characters that I thought was like a bad guy, but you see more of why she became that way. And then you have these 2 new other characters, and obviously everything's just so heartbreaking. There's like adult themes in this YA book, but I loved it so much. And yeah, I thought it wrapped up very nicely. I cannot recommend this series enough. For anyone who will listen to me, I enjoyed both of these books. 5 stars. The next book that I read is Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. And if you guys have been following me through my booktube journey, I have basically been talking about this book the whole past year, saying that I'll finish it, I'll finish it, I'll finish it, and I finally did. This is a very big chunkster of a book. I think it's like the biggest book that I've ever read. This is a mass market paperback and it's like 1,200 pages, and I love carrying this around with me everywhere. It like fits perfectly in my purse. So The Way of Kings, you basically follow 3 point of views. You have Shallan, you have Kaladin, and then you have Dalinar. And my favorite is Kaladin, honestly, but I love them all so much. Shallan, I feel like I just need to get more of her story to feel more about her. I just want to know more about her past and her family. Kaladin's my favorite, and then Dalinar. Brandon Sanderson is just like the master of world building, but you have Kaladin, who is starting off as a slave in this bridge crew, and his family, he comes from a family of surgeon. Well, his dad was a surgeon, and he never wanted to be a surgeon. He wanted to be a soldier. So you read more about his backstory, but as of right now, he's a slave and a part of this bridge crew. And the bridge crew, their job is to carry these bridges over these great plains, connect them to each other so that the soldiers can cross it and go to war on these battlefields. And so Dalinar, he's like one of the high princes who commands these different soldiers and stuff like that. So that's his story, and you learn more about like why they're at war and things like that. And then you have Shallan's story. She's like an apprentice and she is studying under this other woman, but she has like ulterior motives. So like there's her story. I feel like Kaladin and Dalinar's story merges a little bit better. Shallan, I feel like will connect together more so in the next books, but I'm so glad that I finally finished this. It was so great, and I'm actually okay that I read it over a year because it's just something that I wanted to savor and not rush through. But I'm excited to get into the second book. The next book that I want to talk about is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. I had such high hopes for this book. Overall, it was just okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but a lot of people kept comparing it to that movie, Ready or Not, and I love that movie so much, so I was really excited about this, but it was just okay. It was kind of frustrating some parts, and it actually reminded me of that YA book, Love and Gelato, more than Ready or Not, and I'll tell you why. So you have this woman named Harriet Reed, I think? Yeah, her name is Harriet Reed. She's a novelist, and she is getting married to this guy named Edward Holbeck. And he's like crazy rich, but he has some like family drama things going on, so he kind of removes himself from his family and does his own thing, and he's still super rich. Anyway, so they're getting married, and he's finally like, okay, it's time to introduce you to my family. Let's ease you in. Let's meet my sister. And then finally she's meeting everyone, right? And so when she meets his father, it's like weird and suspicious, but he gives her a cassette tape to listen to. And here's where the mystery starts. The issue I had with this is that she doesn't listen to the full cassette tape. And I know like the author is probably doing that to, you know, lend to the novel, the story, whatever, right? But it's just so frustrating because she doesn't listen to the whole cassette. And then she makes like wild theories and goes on wild goose chases trying to figure out what he means by this, right? But if you just listen to the whole cassette, you probably figure it out. And that reminds me of Love and Gelato, because in Love and Gelato, you have this girl, this teenager, who is trying to figure out where or who her mother is. and she finds a diary, and instead of reading the whole diary through, she just reads little snippets and then goes on a wild goose chase all over like Italy or Rome. I forget where that book takes place. But anyways, yeah. So it reminds me a lot more of that book than Ready or Not. The only similarity to Ready or Not, I feel, is that you have a woman who is getting married into a family and she learns a lot of secrets about the family that is not all quite good. That's the only similarity. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was pretty quick. I thought it was pretty easy to figure out who was the bad person here because it's so suspicious. But yeah, read it if you want to and let me know what you think. I'd be pretty interested to see what you think about it. My next book I want to talk about is Lunar Love by Lauren Kung Jessen. So this one was unfortunately a big letdown for me. I was looking forward to this. Number one, Asian author. I think she's like biracial. She is a mixed race Chinese American writer. So I was looking forward to this, especially since this is like a enemies to lovers type of book, including Chinese zodiac. So it's pretty good premise there. But you have Olivia, who's the main character, and she is inheriting this matchmaking business from her family, and she's pretty nervous about it, right? Because she wants to do her best and wants it to thrive, but in comes this new guy who is doing things differently, more technology, more app-based versus her old school ways. And so she's like pretty mad about it, and they're both using Chinese zodiac ways, but he has a different way of thinking about the Chinese zodiac animals. I don't know, they have like different views, and so she doesn't like it. She puts a lot of her insecurities towards him, and she acts a certain way in the beginning and says a lot of things, and he reacts in a certain way and says a lot of things that I didn't like. So it's like bad enemies in the fact that I did not like both of them at all, and I was not really rooting for any of them, let alone rooting for them to be together. Oh, sorry, I just did not like it. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars, and looking back, the last enemies to lovers book that I did not like was Dating Dr. Dill, and I gave that 1 out of 5 stars, so this was a little bit better. But yeah, enough about that. The next book that I want to talk about is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I just overall feel like there was so much going on, and you kind of have to like stop and wrap your head around it, which can be a good thing, but I just feel like it was like one thing after another. But I did overall enjoy it. You have 3 best friends who always played together. They always went to like this nearby forest and played make-believe to the goddesses and stuff like that. And one day, one of the girls gets brutally stabbed, and she actually survived. She's like stabbed 17 times, but she actually survived. And with the help of her and her 2 friends that were there, they were able to put away the murderer. He's like a serial killer. And so years later, the serial killer actually passed away from cancer. These 3 girls, they get together one more time to like talk about it and like just decompress. But one of the girls is like, hey guys, I don't think we should lie anymore. I think we should tell the truth. I found this out. And so she actually disappears before she's able to tell that, you know, secret. And so that's where it's all starting. It's like a mystery inside a mystery, but I thought it was a really good, I don't know if this is a debut novel, but anyways, I thought it was really good. The only thing is that I feel like it was so much going on at once at the end. I was able to figure out one mystery, but that one mystery was just like a pebble in the pond. It was like so many different reveals at the end, so it was pretty exciting. Yeah, this will definitely keep you on your toes. I liked it. So yes, those are my 5 books. This is my 2-star, Lunar Love. This is my 3-star, The Family Game. This is my 4-star, What Lies in the Woods. And these 2 are my 5-star reads, Muse of Nightmares and The Way of Kings. And so let's get into the book that I bought. I was deciding between several books, X's and O's by Amy Leah, or that new book that everyone has been raving about, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, or this other book that someone recently told me about called Diabolical, which I've never really heard people talk about before, and it sounded really interesting. And so I was deciding between those 3 for the longest time until I went with my daughter to the bookstore, like a thrift bookstore nearby, and to buy her a book, and then I saw, bam, this one. It's not a book that was on my radar at all, but I saw this and it was super cheap and it was like in brand new condition and it felt so nice. I love matte covers. The color is so cute too. It's like green and like very bright orange, and for some reason it works for me. So yeah, I bought it, and I'm gonna have to quickly read 5 more books because I do want X's and O's. But this one is by Jasmine Guillory, and I read 2 of her books before. I read The Wedding Date and I read The Proposal, and I thought they were just okay, and that's where I stopped for Jasmine Guillory. I just didn't pick up any of her other books, but she's like spurting out a lot of books really, really quickly, and this is one of the recent ones, I think. Let's see when this came out actually. Yeah, this came out 2021, so it's not one of her more recent ones. This is actually a fake dating romance. So you have Ben Stevens, who is in advertising, and then you have Anna Gardner, who is a movie star, and they get together because of a huge ad campaign. I don't know how the fake dating starts, but two people realize that it's no longer an act when they veer off script in this sizzling romantic comedy by New York Times bestselling author Jasmine Guillory. So I'm excited about this one because I want to give her writing another chance and see if it's changed in any way. Her covers are just so pretty. So yeah, I hope you like my mini wrap up. I'm doing this thing now in this year, 2023, of a challenge that I put on myself. Read 5 before I buy. So I don't think I'm gonna do a lot of monthly wrap-ups. I'm just gonna do mini wrap-ups of the 5 books that I read and then talk about the book that I bought. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed my mini wrap-up, and thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys next time. Bye!